Money and finance.
Right.
Quite a bit of topics that I feel Indian culture stays away. Um,
Certainly.
and there's a taboo that people say that, okay, we shouldn't talk about money, we shouldn't talk about finance because it's a root of evil. We
Hmm.
should stay within our limits. What are your thoughts about that?
I actually think I come from a household where we spoke of money in very benevolent terms from the very beginning. And that eventually shaped how I viewed the stock market. So essentially, how your parents talk about money is so very important. If, for example, your father says the stock market is a gamble, it is one place we stay away from, which often people speak of as for politics, right? So that's the viewpoint you develop as a child. But if they speak highly of the stock market, then that shapes the child's brain in a certain manner where they think, okay, this is a mechanism where I can make money provided I know what I'm doing. Naturally, the data suggests a lot of people also lose money. But if you know what you're doing, if you follow certain steps, you can and you certainly shall make money. So I think Indian households need to really catch up as far as money is concerned. They should discuss return on investment, how money really works, what debt does to a person, because the problem of debt is rampant in Punjab itself. The indebtedness of the farmer. I mean, this is an age old conundrum. Back in the 1870s, Punjab farmers were indebted and the money lenders were lending at usurious rates. So, this is not something new at all. And most of the reasons for money borrowing were not only for the harvest, but also for a daughter's wedding, for example. Because no matter what
Mm.
amount of money you make, you always end up overspending. So I think if the Punjabi culture especially talks money more and is more transparent with it, especially when dealing with family members as far as money is concerned, and also educates themselves, I think it is going to be a game changing affair for everyone.
It's a good point that you just said that we end up spending more than earning.
Right.
And there's a common mistake that I think we all do is we have the thought process of saving.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like the money that you put in your bank account, it's not your money. It's bank's money.
Mm-hmm.
They're quote unquote are gambling with your money,
Yeah, makes sense.
and the value that you save your money, it goes down.
Certainly.
So to overcome this issue, and I think we need to talk about investing,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be trading, stock trading, or any other sorts of investments.
Right. So you see, I mean, money always has opportunity cost. In India, fixed deposits are very popular. So they are considered safe because they are pretty much backed by the government, sometimes mostly by the bank. And huge banks, although they are liable to fail, but banks like SBI, which are backed by the government, might not fail. So Indians love going for their fixed deposits, which are yielding around 5% a year. Now, because the bank is giving you 5%, naturally it's earning more on your money. It's investing it on the side, which is what
Hmm.
an insurance company also does. It has this huge amounts of money collected as premium. Some policies mature, they got to pay up. Some people claim their insurances, but the majority is not claiming their insurances. And therefore, there's a huge pool of money that has to be invested. So even
Hmm.
if you're an insurance company, a bank, or a small household, just the single unit of the society, I think knowledge of investing is incredibly important. And once you delve deep into this field, you tend to realize what your personality is. Do you want to invest for the long haul? Do you want to go for index funds? Or do you want to just stick with mutual funds, which tend to have a higher expense ratios? So it really depends, and all of this germinates from the conversation. We need to
Right.
talk money more. We need to know what the opportunity cost of money is, because I might spend it on travel, an obscene amount of money, and that's going to give me a lot of value naturally, as travel does. But that money also has opportunity cost. Perhaps I can travel more within my means and also invest my money. So that's a conversation that honestly, it's just very scintillating.
So, what advice you would give to a 20-year-old individual about money and finance?
Right. I think this question can be answered if I think about what I'm going to do differently if I was 20 years old. I think I would certainly develop a curiosity of how money works and how the stock market works. I want to consume as much literature as I can on this topic, and there's some excellent literature out there. So, what you want to do is find good mentors. If you're interested in trading, for example, there's tons of individuals, especially in America, which are doing a marvelous job consuming their works, consuming their literature, consuming their podcasts. This is something that I would do on a consistent basis. And eventually, my mind would start to develop a holistic understanding of how money is working. For example, I also want to consume the works of Warren Buffett, who tends to be a value investor. And he tends to buy companies outright. He doesn't buy just stocks, he would buy the company outright. And then there's traders like Mark Minervini who take massive positions in stocks for the short term. So I eventually would advise any 20-year-old to start learning as early as possible, and the best way to do that is to grab books, read anything and everything on finance, whatever piques your interest, go down that rabbit hole further, and eventually you will want to specialize. This is something that cannot be ignored. Whether you want to be a lawyer or an engineer, the stock market is something everyone should be aware of, because eventually you're a consumer of goods produced by these very companies. You drive cars, you buy clothes, you fly in airlines and stay in hotels. One, if you're consuming, why not be a shareholder and also reap the benefits of the
Mm-hmm.
company's prosperity? It is only logical to do so.